This is a First Coast News special report.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alex Livingston. I hope you're enjoying your Saturday morning so far. We're coming to you live as Mayor Lenny Curry and the mayors from the First Coast beaches are set to give an update on the coronavirus. The press conference is set to start in Neptune Beach in just a few minutes. Now, this address comes from the mayors after Mayor Curry announced yesterday all city-owned event venues will remain closed until further notice. Also, the city of St. Augustine has already canceled a series of festivals scheduled to happen in the next couple of weeks. The Department of Health is now reporting 83 positive cases of COVID-19 in Florida. Now, as we know, nationwide, a lot of sports have been canceled. We're talking big events right here at home. The Players Championship in Ponte Vedra, that has been canceled. At first, it was just a ban on the fans arriving and staying and watching and enjoying, but we found out later on that they were going to cancel it altogether. I mean, and that's kind of the trend nationwide. The NBA suspending their season, Major League and minors, they're all suspending their seasons right here at home in Jacksonville. The Jumbo Shrimp, they're one of those teams that are suspending as well as the Jacksonville Icemen. So as you guys know, we've been reporting on this for a while now, and the effects are more than just our health. We're experiencing things as far as making sure, we stay safe and vigilant, but also making sure that if you are sick, you're staying home so you don't possibly infect other people that can then affect the vulnerable population. And that population would be the elderly and those with pre-existing conditions that make them a little susceptible to the coronavirus. So again, that press conference is set to start. You can see it going on right now, and it sounds like we're starting now.
All of the citizens of Duval County. Yesterday, I declared a state of emergency for Duval County, and with that closed a number of facilities indefinitely, including TIA Bank Field, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, Times Union Performing Arts Center, Prime Osborne Convention Center. They'll remain closed until further notice. We've also closed the Jacksonville Zoo, public libraries, and parks. In addition, we've suspended event permits for large gatherings and stopped such gatherings at city parks and property through the end of this month. We're working with the Supervisor of Elections on plans to keep libraries, fire stations, and other city buildings that serve as voting locations to remain open exclusively for early voting in the Tuesday election. I want to talk just a few minutes about why we're doing this and the importance of social distancing, the importance of washing your hands, the importance of not touching your face. It's called flattening the curve. And in places that don't do these types of things, you can Google this or look this up. You see the COVID-19 spike like this. What that does is that stresses healthcare providers, that stresses hospitals, and that's what you saw. It is happening in Italy. So the actions that we're taking will prevent and mitigate that scenario playing out here in Duval County. I've had these conversations with the leaders of our local hospitals, and all of the stuff we're doing, as inconvenient it is, as frustrating it is, it's necessary and it's important to flatten the curve. There's no need for panic or fear right now. We live in an era of data and information. All these decisions are data-based and in the best interest of your health. So with that, it's good to be out here. I'll turn it over to Mayor Brown.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Curry. I appreciate all of you being here because spreading this message is what's important. When Mayor Curry decided, and he gave us a call, and I want you to know that we've been in great communication with Mayor Curry and with his staff. And we are saying the very same thing. Use good common sense. However, in order to not have city council meetings and not encourage the public to gather, we are going to sign an emergency declaration as well, and we will be able to close our public meetings. And the reason we are closing them, of course, is to be a part of this curve to stop it and to make sure that we are telling and saying to everyone, use that good common sense, but also be very, very tuned into our website, Jack's Ready, and certainly the CDC, and make sure that you're tuned into all of that. The three beaches mayors are here. We are together saying to you the beaches are open. There is no closing of the beach that is being talked about, that private sector gatherings are going to be happening, but we are encouraging people. Don't go to big gatherings. Try to stay away from them. I think 500 is something that the city of Jacksonville has said, and we are encouraging you to use this good common sense and make sure But if you're at a gathering, use your hand sanitizers, keep your distance, and make sure that this is something that we're practicing. We are going to be signing the declaration, but at this time, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague over here from Atlantic Beach, Mayor Glasser, who I'm very proud to say with Mayor Glasser and Mayor Latham that we are working together with Mayor Curry to keep Duval County and to keep the beaches residents safe. Mayor Glasser.
Thank you, Mayor Brown, and thank you for coming to the beach, Mayor Curry. So I'm Ellen Glasser, the mayor in Atlantic Beach, and I will say that our city did declare a state of emergency late last night, and so all 3 beaches are going to be on board with having a state of emergency declared. And so we are ceasing our city meetings at least through March, and we also are suspending any city-sanctioned, city-sponsored activities in the city of Atlantic Beach. We have a number of public parks, and you know, you can't put gates up in front of all of them. They're public spaces, but we really are discouraging the gathering of many people in those parks. We're going to continue our essential services and do everything we can to sanitize the facilities because we know people will use them. The beaches are open, but I would just caution folks that even though there's an extended spring break and many activities have been canceled, this is really not a party time. Please come and enjoy the beaches, but do heed the advice of the health professionals in terms of distancing yourself from people, not shaking hands, you know, hygiene rules, things like that, because that's what's going to contribute to flattening the curve, and that's really important so we don't overwhelm the healthcare system. So we have to work the problem together. We're all in this together. It's not a time to panic. But the public safety of our residents is our #1 concern. And so this is kind of a no-brainer for us. When the president declares a state of emergency, the governor does, the city of Jacksonville does, you know, we're on board with that. And so we are all united. We're all in this together. So let's be good neighbors. Let's be smart. But there are people that are going to be in need. And in Atlantic Beach, about 20 to 25% of our residents are considered the vulnerable population of over age 60. So let's not forget that. So thank you very much for your interest in this. Let's be smart together, and we'll work through this problem and, you know, get back to normal, hopefully before too long. Thank you. And this is Mr. Mayor Charlie Latham from Jacks Beach, my colleague, and happy to work with him always.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mayor Curry and your staff for all the support and communication, and I want to thank all of you for being here today to help us spread the word. It's been said several times, but it doesn't hurt to say it one more time. Common sense is really critical at this point. Need to make sure that you're explaining to your children how the virus spreads and making sure their hands are clean and sanitizers are used. But Jacksonville Beach is open. Excuse me. Jacksonville Beach is open and will be open on Monday. Our City Hall will be open. Beaches Energy will be open. It's carry on business as usual, but we're counting on everybody to use common sense to take care of yourselves and your family. So again, thanks for being here, and if you have any questions, you can go to our website as well, and we'll keep everybody posted. Public meetings are closed until further notice, as are public entertainment events that are done on city property are closed until further notice. But thank you, Mayor.
Thanks.
Thank you all. I'm going to sign our declaration right now, and that will be, you know, putting into effect what we have already shared with you, and that is that these public meetings, including city council, are going to be suspended through the month. And we'll be looking, again, working with you and seeing what evolves and how we're going to work from there.
Can you talk about right now what this means for day-to-day operations and as far as government is concerned, the 3 beaches?
Yeah, sure. We're open. City Hall is open. We're going to have sanitation everywhere, sanitizing everywhere. We're even sanitizing our playground equipment. But again, not to worry about paying your water bill. If you want to do it online, you can certainly do that. You can come here to do it. And again, we're going to be sanitizing the all of the doors, door handles, and having it available to the public. Business as usual, but no public gatherings. We are right in line with the mayors to simply say this is what we're trying to avoid.
So in Atlantic Beach, the people that can work from home, we're trying to work on remote access for some of those people, but for essential services, they will continue. We're trying to help our residents either drop off payments for their utilities in the Dropbox, or to call us, or to go online. So we're going to try to drive that a little bit, but we are open for business. We'll continue to do the same things that Mayor Brown spoke about in terms of sanitizing the surfaces and the door handles and things like that. But all essential services are continuing, with the exception of the commission meetings, which are canceled. And so the public's not going to be coming into the City Hall space during those meetings. So again, to sort of limit the gatherings.
Also a big concern, the beach's town center filled with people because of the restaurants and the bars. Anything that you specifically want to say for people that are traveling and congregating in that area?
Yes. The beaches are packed right now. There were thousands of people on the beach yesterday. There were a lot of people who I consider to be TPC certainly canceled. You had a lot more people from the colleges and from schools that are looking for something to do. It's safe on the beach. In fact, getting out in the sunshine and healthy air is something I would encourage, but use that good common sense. We are encouraging all restaurants, all bars, to double up on sanitation, to make sure that you've got the ability for your customers to feel safe, and that way you can certainly contribute to what we are saying, and that is be safe, stay safe, and use and do what the CDC is asking us to practice.
With more visitors in town because of TPC, other events, is the lifeguard station, and the weather is so beautiful out, with more people heading to the beach, is the lifeguard station doing anything in particular to help with the coronavirus and just taking extra precaution?
Absolutely. Our chief of police is here, and he is over the lifeguards, and we have put all lifeguards on duty, and we beefed that up because we had people in the water yesterday, etc. But again, it is just we're trying to help the people that are coming here, and we're asking them to help us. Make sure when you're going to these restaurants and when you're going to use the cautions, do the sanitizing of your hands, and let's all stay safe. We're not going to close the beach. We're not going to try to tell people to stay inside, but we are going to encourage bars, restaurants, public places to make sure that what you are doing is what is advertised by the CDC on their website, Jack's Ready, and our website, and that is to be cautious, and let's stop this thing.
And by the way, the reason, one of the reasons you work to flatten the curve, if you will, if you read the material and look at the history, is to prevent a scenario where you have to basically shut everything down.
Again, that is a press conference live in Neptune Beach with the mayor of Jacksonville as well as the mayors of the beaches. Now, here's what we learned, what we're going to pick up, and what we're going to recap really quickly. The beaches, they're declaring a state of emergency. What does that mean? That means that public meetings will be suspended through the end of the month, and this is going to give them time to sanitize offices, any equipment, doorknobs, handles, literally anything that you can touch. Now, those non-essential employees will be staying at home. That's another part of their effort to kind of flatten that curve that you heard them mention. The essential business will continue, obviously. Now, the beaches, they are open. You heard them say that there's about 1,000 people at the beaches yesterday, probably because of TPC being canceled, and we have this influx of people in our communities. So be vigilant. That's another thing that they stressed so much, was use common sense. All right, don't go to large gatherings. No, there aren't any closures of the beach, but it is still being talked about. So keep that in mind if you do plan on heading out there. Their tips for restaurants and advice for them is to double up on sanitation. And you heard flattening the curve a couple of times. You might be wondering what that means. I'm sure you've heard it or seen it online as well. That's the COVID-19 spike. And so what they're trying to do is flatten that, and those actions of closing the public meetings and things like that. That is an effort to flatten that spike. So of course, we're going to be continuing coverage online and on air. So make sure you download our app and head over to firstcoastnews.com and stay tuned.
This has been a First Coast News special report.